What's going on, everybody? Shane here with another anime movie review, and I'm doing the sequel to the last review's movie, Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, with Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle. It's a mouthful. As I said before, is a sequel to the last animated movie, and in Japan it aired in the movie theaters, did really well, getting 100 million yen in the box office. Try to convert that to USD, but worldwide it came out on Netflix. It is another film brought to us by our friends at Toho Animations with Polygon Animation Studios as well, and we're gonna get much of the same characters from before. So again, I give a five star, 5 count rating, and we're just gonna get right into it. As we saw with and by the way, spoiler if you didn't watch the first movie, if you haven't watched the first review, at the end of the credits, we're shown that uh, the first Godzilla emerges, and this is coming off the heels of that emerging from him, because just him emerging and being so massive basically wipes out everybody as everyone tries to retreat, and we're left with our main hero, or should I say, protagonist, Captain Sergeant Haru. He wakes up and he suddenly sees an indigenous person. More on that. He wakes up, his suit's off, he's kind of surprised that he can breathe, and he sees this person as they peek their head, and it looks like she's bringing him some food. She runs off, he suits up and tries to figure out what's going on as he's looking upon this massive jungle forest area. And he was separated from his group while everyone else is looking for him. Apparently they're battling something, and when he comes face to face with him, with the young woman with him, because for a time he was trying to catch up to her, but when he decided to just do his own thing, she was chasing him and even stopped him from going to some ominous pit thing. So when they gathered back around and his comrades were trying to shoot her, saying that they had just seen her try to attack them, he told them, no, she's protected me, she got me this far, and they are surrounded by more people. Well, they are brought into a underground cavern society, and these people have, they're brown skin, but they have these markings and things on them, and they are met, or should I say, reunited with their other friends, or their other comrades, so to speak. And they're trying to figure out what's going on. Are these humans? And there's a lot of talk in this about whether they're human or not, and where they descended from. But of course, the good doctor, it looks like he's a herpetologist. I don't know his official title. I actually don't remember his name either. But he's sitting here saying, well, I think they were diverged from insects, it appears, which is kind of like, well, it's been 20,000 years on the planet, so I guess something else would develop humanoid. But he also explains that it looks like everything on the planet is just mimicking Godzilla. Since Godzilla is the top dog, everything's trying to survive. That's where they get the wyverns that look like him. That's why some of the trees are just metal. But more on that. So they meet with the council, and it comes to find out that the young lady that saved him is also a twin. Now, her twin noticeably frowns, so you can tell these two apart. And they touch a wall that has a mural that kind of looks familiar if you know anything about Toho monsters and Godzilla and things like that. Kind of looks like some type of winged creature. They touch the wall, and they're able to telepathically communicate with them. Now, not everybody in the crew was, human. Some of them are aliens. The Belusalidos, which are, I didn't describe what they look like in the first video. They're large, stocky. They pay more attention to rational intelligence. They think emotions are stupid, whereas the Ilifus, they're lighter skin tones. They're basically blonde elves, while these guys are kind of like dark elves, brown skin, pretty stocky. Most of them, all of them look alike. I hate to say it, but all of them look alike. Maybe a few shades of hair color different. And so they're communicating with them, and all of them are hearing them differently inside their minds. They're hearing them in their home world language. The humans are hearing them in English, well, Japanese, because I'm watching this in sub. And they explain to them, well, Godzilla. They call him Godzilla, but they know that who they're referring to. He's the god of the mountain. He is the mountain. Their ancient god, who was in the egg, was basically telling them, this is how they live. They live down here. They're not going to help them fight Godzilla, but they will help them get, back to where they need to go. And a little side note here, I'm pretty sure these people are an allusion to the tribe in some of the Godzilla movies that worship Mothra. If you're very familiar with the old Toho Godzilla movies and Mothra movies, there are usually these two miniature twins that speak on behalf of Mothra. So I feel like this is the Easter egg, the cameo, the kind of, oh, I know what you're doing there moment. And they lead them up to the top. They're able to communicate with their comrades that are still in orbit, and their comrades are monitoring all this. And it's a plan to get them out, but he's saying, Haruo saying, we've come this far, we might as well try to defeat Godzilla. But on their way to figure out what's going on, I call her the love interest, her name is Yuko. Yuko gets kind of jealous and just goes off in the same direction that Haruo had gone off. That the young lady, her name now is Mina, while her sister name is Miana. So I'm just going to say Mai and Mia. There we go. Where Maya had just saved him. Well, these vine-like tentacles come up, try to eat her. They use these arrows to not only deter those, but deter the flying wyvern creatures. And the Belisarus, I believe his name is Galgu, notices, hey, what's your spear made out of? They tell him it's poisonous. Apparently, this was part of the material that was used to create Mechagodzilla some 20 years ago. That was a effort by them and the humans. So they asked them to show them where they got it. Apparently, the nanite metal has spread out so far that it has made an entire city that they're calling Mechagodzilla City now. And with that, they're able to communicate. They're able to send some people back, but they're telling them, we're going to stay here and try to beat Godzilla because we've come this far, right? And small little subplot, the twins, at least, Smiley Twins, like, well, I want to make sure that they're okay. Mostly make sure Haru's okay, because for all of his bloodthirsty vengeance he wants, he still seems like, I guess you can feel that he has a kind heart, and of course her sister is going to go with her. So throughout all this, Yuko's mech that somehow has survived all this is getting upgraded. It turns into what I can describe as the closest thing I've ever seen to like a Yu-Gi-Oh monster mixed with a Gundam, and they call it the Vulture, which I was kind of hoping it would be something that looked like Mechagodzilla, but they make 3 of these things, and a little hint: the people who were healed by these underground dwelling folk with the special paint and stuff, because the paint and stuff has gone on them. They kind of feel sick while they're in the Mechagodzilla city. When they go outside of it, they feel better. And so this is a kind of foreshadowing for later. And they also notice that there are bodies on the ground that have been swallowed up by the nanomachines. Apparently, the Galgu person is saying that, well, they didn't get away. Whatever. Foreshadowing. So time rolls on. They're preparing. They're waiting for Godzilla to get into motion. Godzilla rises. The 3 vultures have to be piloted within the limits of the city in order for the human person to fly it. While they're calibrated for humans, one of the Bilisadus, I believe his name is Belbu, he does it, and then Captain Haruo says, "You know what? I'm gonna do it. We have no time to argue. Let's get this plan rolling." And from this point on, the action is amazing. Again, you see, you see the conflict. You see great action. They're trying to divert Godzilla, but I'm gonna take it back a little bit before that. While Haru was, talking with the doctor, figuring out this whole thing about the paint, he's talked to about a creature that had destroyed the Elfu's planet, and I'm trying to remember this character's name. I cannot remember the character's. I think his name is Metaphys. There you go. Metaphys was talking to him about what happened on the planet, and he whispers in his ear the creature that destroyed him, because apparently this thing, it's like Voldemort. Their people don't even want to utter its name to not incur its wrath. Foreshadowing. So he gets his own little space area that he was asked if they could just give him a little computer. He's trying to fix a artifact from his people. And, Godzilla shows up. This is when we get back to the action. And they're going to use a special harpoon. They're going to use the same plan that they did for the first Godzilla, but just scale it up, since the first Godzilla was this big. Second Godzilla is like about this big if we're going to do comparisons. And they do a good job of showing that Godzilla isn't just a. They do a good job showing that Godzilla isn't just some mindless, wandering titan. You see, apparently Godzilla has blue eyes. You see the eye movement as he's watching these vultures attack him, and when he shoots the atomic breath, it's piercing the skies. It's burning everything. Godzilla's smart because he couldn't find the Mecha Godzilla city because the nanites had some type of gas that was, making a fog. And once Godzilla finds them with his beam, because they have to deflect it, he's right on course, which goes along with what they want. And their plans are going very well. Well, now some of the other soldiers are noticing that some of the Belisadu are getting these pods and becoming overtaken with the nanites. And this creates an argument right before Mechagodzilla gets there that essentially says, why are we sacrificing people when in the end, this is what we're going to become? And Haru was warned by Metaphys that these people, they don't value emotions. They're trying to become machines. They're trying to become like the monsters that we're trying to kill. And eventually, as we're getting Mechagodzilla into this trap, and Mechagodzilla has been hit, they got him down. They're trying to get him to explode like the first one. Well, it's really hard to do because he's radiating over 1,000 Fahrenheit of heat. So they devised that the vultures, if they just suicide dive, they can kill Godzilla. Well, now, because the vultures are made out of nanites, the nanites are starting to take over them. And Yuko was not healed by these people, so she's in pain. But Haru, he's able to just dust the stuff off. And he's saying, what are you doing? And now we're having this internal conflict. You hate this creature just as much as we do. Why not become a part of a greater machine and be stronger than Godzilla and still kill him? So the argument is, be a monster to kill the monster and be greater than what you are. And Haru is having this back and forth while the Bellaboo is going to go up and do the suicide dive. Metaphys is telling him he's already directed the people who ran away because they didn't want to become part of this in the control room. He's telling them, hey, if you destroy the control room, it'll shut everything down. Now, here comes the dilemma. Does he save Yuko, who he shared a passionate kiss with before all this stuff happened, because he's sharing what the old world was like with her, and she's, he is a thing that she has grasped onto because of his character, and because of his charm and everything else like that. Regardless of how stiff he may seem, he has a bit of a charm behind him. So he's gripping with saving her, staying as human to defeat the monster, or does he become a monster to kill the monster? And this whole time, the twins are kind of psychically helping him, telling him where to go and things like that during the battle. So everyone's kind of looking on, wondering what he's going to do. Well, he comes down to the control room, just shoots it in his mech, just annihilates this entire thing. Once that gets blown up, since they're all hive mind and this is a nano thing, the other vulture flies in, blows it all up. Not Mecha, but Godzilla is free and lays complete and total waste to the place. Yeah, I'm kind of breezing through and I'm going back and forth because a lot of the talking parts kind of drag on, but once you get to the action, it's really, really, really good, really gripping. And now that we're in this burning heap, Haru's trying to get Yuko to awaken. He thinks she is too late. She might be dead. He sees a tear coming from her eye, but with the lighting, you can't tell if it's a human watery tear or if it's a nano tear. And he just lets out a roar, and that's how the movie ends. And then we get a post-credit scene where we're doing a flashback where Metaphys whispers a name in his ear, and the name is Ghidorah. If you know anything about Godzilla, King Ghidorah is one of two creatures that are called Godzilla's arch nemesis, along with Mechagodzilla. I'm pretty sure King Ghidorah has been in about the same amount of movies that Mechagodzilla has been in, which is 5, 4 with his name on the title. And King Ghidorah, if you give me a moment to just check this out, King Ghidorah has been in, not including hint hint wink wink, these 2 anime movies, this one and the sequel. He's been in 7 movies. He's been in 2 more movies than Mechagodzilla. So it looks like we're going to end up seeing King Ghidorah in the next movie. So how do I feel about this film? The animation, I've kind of gotten used to it. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just different. The characters are perplexing because you have this moral compass that is the doctor, the guy who I'm calling a herpetologist. You have this vague emotion coming from Metaphys because you feel like the shoe's going to drop. Those shoes going to drop in the next movie that's coming up, and you can't really tell what's going to happen, but you kind of can't tell what's going to happen, right? It took time for us to finally get to the overall plan from the Bilisadus from the first movie, which has been hinted that these 2 aliens had ulterior motives for coming to Earth. So Haru has grown, and he grew not just in these end scenes where he had to decide what he wanted. When he had his talk with Metaphys, even before then, when it came to talking with Yuko, and before and after they shared their kiss, he's like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. They sent 3 people back because those 3 people didn't want to volunteer to do the plan. He's wondering if he's doing the right thing by pulling these men and women into battle with him. They lost one. Well, they succeeded once, but they lost a lot of people. Is this vengeance? Is he just being spurred on by vengeance, or is this really what he wants to do for the human race so they can reclaim their planet? Tons of good character growth. I would say if they had made these movies into separate episodes, it would be really bad because a lot of these episodes would be boring. But this would be something like in the middle of the season, he has a change of heart. Well, not necessarily a change of heart, but he changes his way of thinking about the situation. Character growth, pacing. It's a thing with these Godzilla movies, and not just with the anime. You don't watch these movies for the people. Even though Tokyo SOS and the All Out Monster Attack and Godzilla versus all monsters, the conflict that the humans have with the aliens, and the aliens bringing all these giant kaiju for Godzilla to beat up on and for the humans to work with him, That is interesting, yes, because all that's action. Like you see a lot of people fighting, you see a lot of monster fights, and things like this. It's boring to hear them talk, sure, but if the story's good, you can follow along with it. I'm not saying the story's good. I'm saying that you can follow what's going on enough. But once we get to seeing this, last time I said when you get to see the wyverns, it picks up. And this one, when you see Godzilla again, it's on. You do feel pressure by this whole weird Mecha Godzilla city, but once you see Godzilla, it's on. The action's amazing. The action sequences are great. I personally have not finished the second Pacific Rim movie, but from based on what I've seen in the first, this is kind of it. You get these machines fighting the kaiju, which I really wish that the actual physical Mechagodzilla would have shown up. Mechagodzilla had this city would have been his fourth form, which is kind of like, if you know anything about Transformers, kind of like a Metroplex kind of deal. I would have thought that the whole city would have transformed into a giant combating robot thing, but that's a bit of a disappointment. I kind of wish that would have happened, but it didn't. So all in all, out of 5, I'll give this a 3.5, maybe a 4. Maybe I can't give it a 4. Can't give it a 4. I'll give it a 3. I'll give it a 3.5 at the most because there wasn't good character growth, and it isn't a movie that forgot about what happened in the last animated movie. Granted, yeah, this is a trilogy, but we've all seen trilogies where part 2 doesn't have anything to do with part 1. Can this movie stand on its own? I argue towards more so towards no than I do yes. And the reason I say that is because it's really important to know how they got in this situation. If you watch the last movie, hell, if you just watch the last 30 minutes of the last movie, you understand how they got in the situation. Now, if you just want to watch this just because you want to see this mecha fight, you might as well just skip towards the end. But if you're a Godzilla fan, you're a kaiju fan, you want to follow this plot, because this is I will give them credit. This is one of the most unique and different things I've seen, where humans had to run because of Godzilla, and now they're back trying to get this thing going and trying to get the planet back. So again, I personally say watch the first one and watch the second one. I'm hoping there's a huge payoff. I've already seen what Ghidorah looks like. He looks like this electric beast, and King Ghidorah has always had electricity powers. He's also had a mecha form too, so who knows how well this will do. But the second movie has done better. It is actually better than the first one. It is not as boring as the first one, but I'm hoping this third one is the charm. So, if you've seen the movie, tell me what you think of it. Are you hoping that this third movie isn't the last one? We'll probably ask you that question again once we get to watching the third movie. Tell me, who's your favorite kaiju? Who's your favorite Godzilla antagonist or favorite Godzilla hero? Are you a Mothra fan? Do you like when he fights King Kong? Do you like people like Destroyer, or the Smog Monster, Gigan? As you can tell, I love this series. So anyway, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video. Let me know what you think down below of the movie. Hell, you can even let me know what you think of the review. Is it good? Is it bad? What can I do to improve? I'll see you guys next time. Be good. Be blessed.